So, but back to the original clones that were done in this series. This is them, and we're now flowering them. So this is the final stage. And quite frankly, these were the only clones I took because they were the Master Kush clones that I took. You know, that was one of the new strains I have obtained. And as you can see, you get a bunch of little golf ball-like balls. And I'll zoom in on all this for you and be able to show you the you know, the different characteristics of the plant. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a high yielding plant, and of course I can't judge the potency until we're done the full flowering. So with that said, I'm going to take a break here, smoke some medicine, and try and figure out how I'm going to go about making all this work. So I shall be back later.
Yep.
Okay, back again for another segment. So this time, I guess what I'm going to talk about a little bit. As we can see, we got each of our plants labeled here. You can see Kush, 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 Jag, Hog, Northern Lights, number 5. So these are, you know, these are our strains. You might wonder why the leaves are cut down, or I've seen this before. Growers do this because a lot of the lower growth isn't necessary to force, you know, you get more growth up top. And it's not that it's a right or wrong way. There's no real right or wrong methodology used. I've used every methodology there is, from bonsai to this. I mean, there's different ways of cultivating. These ones here in particular, I didn't want to play with too much, so I just kind of grew them out. Removing the lower parts here, I'm removing a lot of the leaves. Again, in this situation, I had to look for airspace because I had a lot of extra height, so I want to make sure that there's air circulating through there. And you know, you can see they're looking healthy. This autumning off, once again, what may look like a dying plant or an unhealthy plant is actually a very normal stage. And if we look at the leaves here and the way that they're actually standing up, what I'm doing is I'm actually waiting for these leaves to come down straight, and then it's going to swell out. And this bud's probably going to grow out around here, I'm hoping. So I mean, this is where it's going to go over the next little while. Unfortunately, a lot of growers, they don't wait for that final swell. That's something it's another thing that I've learned through friends of friends and through a lot of study. On the note of study, this is a book here that I would recommend for almost any cultivator. I mean, this is Marijuana Horticulture, the Indoor-Outdoor Marijuana Growers Bible, 512 color pages. This is by George Savants. So for a medical user that really wants to look up all the fundamentals and understand the concepts, both complex and simplistic, they can figure that out basically from this one book. So instead of wasting your time with a lot of magazines, a lot of research on the internet, and a lot of false information, I'd suggest potentially investing in Canada, $42.95, in Victoria anyway, $42.95 to get your book. And you know, it has sections on genetics, it has section on you know, on all your equipment, it has sections on a lot of your electricity, the important stuff that you need to know. So I kind of put that out there all the time. Back to the plants, flowering out against Bill C-26, and also looking at some interesting things because you know, I'm still looking from a medical perspective, and I worry because the federal government right now, we have 124,000 doctors coming out. I have a Ministry of Children and Families policy analyst that's looking at the safety issues of indoor cultivation, which means they're not actually against it, they're more looking at how do we make it safe or regulate it, because it's something that needs to be probably looked at one point or another. And you know, again, and if they're going to do this, I believe that they're going to need to do it in a way that is equal for everybody, which includes, as I said before, the people that do their exotic herbs and their plants, because they use the same lights, they should be held to the same standards. Because so far they're not saying it's the plant itself that causes the mold, it's not the plant itself that causes anything. Hey, the plant doesn't cause the fire, you know, the fire is started by the equipment. So really, we need to look at the equipment, and when we're looking at whether things are good or bad, I think, and also, you know, I don't know if there's an easier answer than simply saying it's a freaking plant and it's some equipment. I often, you know, use it again, the chainsaw thing. You know, a 16-year-old kid can go buy a chainsaw, fire it up with some gas, and go and try and cut a tree in the kickback and kill himself, okay, because he didn't read the manual, or because someone didn't teach him how to use a chainsaw. It's little things like this that kind of that frustrate me when they're saying that somehow we're a threat. You know, that cultivators don't know what they're doing, or medical users can't grow their own medicine, that we need to have somebody else grow it for $10 a gram. I don't think so. You know, it's very possible for us to grow. Moreover, I can grow organically, and I know it's safe. I know what I've used in here. I know what I've done just to make sure my water is safe. I know what organics I'm using. You know, I've done my research. I'm not trusting Buddy down the way. You know, and nor am I trusting the federal government who gamma radiates, and we have no idea what that does to the trichomes. And for those who may not know what trichomes are, they're actually, I guess the best one I can show you on here is if you look onto these northern lights, because they're sticky as hell. You can see there's lots of trichome development early on the northern lights. So I'll ask my wife here to zoom in on this, and she'll be able to show you. You can see there's tons of trichomes up on this plant. I'm just waiting for it to swell out. It's probably going to finish around 52 to 54 days. I'm not sure. I was hoping it would go 60, but we'll see. But you can see there's a lot of early trichome development, very sticky. This is your THC. This is where your CBD is. This is where you can convert it to CBD. This is where all your essential, what you want from the plant. Everything else underneath is just leaf. Really, there's nothing in the leaf. I mean, there's not a lot you can get out of there. There's certainly cannabinoids that need to be researched and looked at, I believe, but what we look for medicinally, or what I look for, is simply the trichomes that are simply starting.